Okay, sir, state your name and who are you, and
Yes.
tell us a little bit about yourself real quick.
Yes, sir. My name is Stephen Xiarhos. I'm a Massachusetts state representative, and prior to that, I was a Yarmouth police officer for 40 years.
Okay, and what do you think about all this? What are your thoughts on this? People are asking, and they want to hear from their government. They want transparency.
We do too. This is a huge issue. I am very concerned about it. And I think what we need to do is a few things. One, we need to close the border. And number two, we got to fix the immigration policy. So that's federally, and we got to push for that. But locally, we're asking the governor to repeal or reform the right to shelter law. So the right to shelter law was started in 1983, I think. And we don't think the intent was for people from another country.
Right.
So today, I co-signed a bill that addresses that would reword the law to basically say for Massachusetts residents. So that's another thing. And then I have another bill coming out soon that will ask the state to reimburse the cities and towns. Because everybody, you know, we want to help people, we understand that, but this is almost too much for small towns. And the town of Yarmouth is questioning whether people can live in a motel room. There's local zoning and rules.
Yeah.
And my concern is I'd hate to have some type of fire or something happen in a motel because there's too many people in a room. You know, they're not made as apartments, they're motels.
So let me ask you, I see you show up at you're like the only one that showed up here that I know from any representative or anything, and I see everybody just really come over to you and they're asking you questions, you know, they're just drawn to you right now. What are the types of things that they're worried about? What are they asking?
The same kind of things, you know, we hear it a lot. It's good to reach out. It's good for a citizen to reach out to their elected official. That's why we do what we do. I love hearing from the public. Don't stop that. But everybody kind of says similar things where
like what? Like an example?
The right to shelter law, how come we don't fix that? Where's the money going to come from? How are we going to be able to take care of the children that are going to school? And remember, I was a Yarmouth police officer, so we kind of dealt with this years ago with motels being used as housing.
Right.
And I give the town of Yarmouth credit for questioning the ability to put people in rooms that are not apartments. So the public is speaking out, we're listening. We have the same questions, and we're hoping that the governor is listening and has a plan to deal with this. What's the end? But also understanding we should be compassionate, but this is too much for local towns, local places, especially Cape Cod, the infrastructure, and also how many people. Right now we know there are 20,000 throughout the state, but there's no end.
So
and
do you
we're
have any
concerned
idea
about
how many
that.
people are in Cape Cod yet?
No, I don't.
All right. And have you been able to speak with the governor about this?
Yeah, the lieutenant governor had a kind of a meeting last week in the State House. I was
On
there.
Thursday?
Yes, I was in the room.
Yeah.
A lot of great questions got asked by both sides, right? Republican and Democrat, because our job is to represent the people, and when people ask us questions, we need answers.
Right.
So we need to improve the communication, but my goal would be to look at that right to shelter law and either repeal it, like we're asking her to do, or reform it. And the people and the elected officials should have input to what's going on.
Right. Why was that meeting? Like, did anybody record that meeting? Can anybody see it?
I don't know. It was a closed meeting.
Is that unusual, or?
I've been there for 3 years, and it does happen once in a while. But as soon as it got over with, you know, I was speaking to the press, you know, letting people know how it went.
So you were the information point at that, you know.
Just for me.
Yeah.
But others did too. Okay. Yeah. A lot of elected officials are concerned, and we need answers. We need a plan. But again, I think we should be looking at that right to shelter law. We're the only state in the country that has that law. The only state. New York City has a similar law, only for the city, and we see what's going on there. And And again, the human side, when there's too many people in a hotel room, we're concerned like something bad could happen.
Yeah. Now I know you've worked in Yarmouth for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
We've seen hotel rooms used.
But as far as the numbers, like the potential numbers, I should say.
No, we've never seen people from other countries being, dropped off at motels, and the Yarmouth officials can speak about that. I represent Bourne, Sandwich, and Barnstable, but I would say everybody is concerned, and we all want answers,
right?
And we want a plan.
And what was that bill that you put through? You tried to
today. Today with other reps, I co-signed a bill. I believe it's 4561.
Yeah.
But it's basically to repeal or reform the right to shelter law by basically just clarifying the language to focus on Massachusetts citizens, Massachusetts residents.
Gotcha.
And we think that was probably the intent back in the 80s.
Right. Gotcha. Is there anything you'd like to say to the public in closing here? How they can get involved? Maybe if they can't show up after work, like these people taking time out of their day to show up down here. Anything that would support you.
Yeah, I love hearing from the public. So people should know who their rep is, who their senator is. Send them an email, give them a phone call.
Right.
Even if they don't answer because there's so many, or at least it's there.
Right.
We want to hear from our people.
So how do they get in touch with you directly? What's the best way?
Well, the best way for me is my State House email. That way there's a record of it, and we can track it. So that would be Stephen, Steven, Xiarhos, Xiarhos, at mahouse.gov.
I'll put that on the screen. Thanks a lot, Steve.
And again, I asked that it's my constituents
right.
from Bourne, Barnstable,
right.
Sandwich,
right.
which is 45,000 people, which is amazing, and I love representing them. I love it.
That's a large. You get a lot of emails right now?
Well, yeah, a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, and this as well as the firearms bill.
Yeah.
That's another one that people are concerned
about.
Right,
yeah, that one was big.
And I've made my position clear on that as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, bye.
Next time around. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. Well, there we go.
No way that they were just walked over here. So we would like to know how they got here, who brought them, what they have been promised, because we want to know who is actually using them as political pawns, because they're taking them to the Massachusetts registry and they're getting them driver's license, and you can best believe they're being coached into voting and registering to vote. Americans that are going to lash out at these people, and that's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. It's not their fault. Whoever had them shipped here, that's whose fault it is. And that's what we need to address, and we're not getting any answers. None of our questions are answered. And our healthcare system, we just have. Okay, so when you were at the State House meeting the other day, is there a cap on the amount of people that are going to be? There's no cap, so there's no end in sight. And then what happens when the money?